I'd be fighting alongside them, but my calling is to one day host a podcast that monetizes the women's movement.
I would not have done Deadpool 3 if they came to me and they were like, we want you to do Deadpool 3 and we're going to pay you twice as much.
Over that one incident?
Hello guys around the world, wherever you may be. I was actually going to be doing a video about the Kelly and Delaney activewear / swimwear sister TikTok feud that is going on. But there's been some new installments within that, which I'm going to have to take a little bit longer to get through. So yeah, it'll probably be tomorrow or the next day.
I just want to leave everyone with something to think about. Final cut tie break goes to the director.
Today, we've actually got some pretty crazy theories that are coming out. People are throwing up parallels between the Deadpool, the new one, Deadpool Wolverine, that Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman were in. Pulling out the fact that Nicepool, which if you haven't seen the film, I'll explain a little bit further detail in a second, is actually based on Justin Baldoni.
I don't think you're supposed to say that. That's okay. I identify as a feminist.
May think that that is the most craziest, like far-fetched theory, but the more I started looking into it, the more I was like, this could actually have some legs. I also want to get on to the whole Golden Globes speech. Brady Corbett, who was behind The Brutalist, he did a speech and he made a statement within his speech that a lot of people are now picking apart and saying, yes, this is 110% to do with Ryan. Blake Lively got her edit, she got her cut, even though she wasn't even supposed to be anything to do with the final cut. Her cut was used, Justin Baldoni sacrificed his. So people are trying to piece together and go, was this a little jab? Because we know that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds did not attend the Golden Globes, despite being nominated with the Deadpool Wolverine. Now, if you're not fully aware of Deadpool versus Wolverine, if you know watched that film, I've actually watched it a few times because I actually did quite enjoy it. I wasn't the biggest fan of the other ones, but I did really enjoy this one. I think because I had Hugh Jackman in it, I was much more swayed to watch it, and I do actually quite like it. I like their dynamic. The reasoning why people are trying to pull parallels is because there is this character called Nicepool, and Nicepool is basically the nice version of Deadpool because they all get sucked onto this void, and there's many different variations of the different characters. If you're staying with me, I really am trying to explain this. I'm not the greatest person at trying to explain movies, but that's the gist of it. And there's a version of Deadpool called Nicepool.
Sorry about that. Who are you? Oh, I'm Deadpool. And I guess you're Deadpool too. But in here, everybody calls me Nicepool.
And he is meant to be this like ultra loving, doesn't really like engaging in combat, you know, very free loving, long luscious hair, etc, is overly nice to everyone, and Deadpool and Wolverine find him a bit annoying, and at the end of it they end up basically using him as a human shield. People are alleging that in the deleted scene, or the bit that didn't quite make the cut, there's a clip of Nicepool saying this.
I'd be fighting alongside them, but my calling is to one day host a podcast that monetizes the women's movement. Eyes are up here. I know it's tempting. I look at it too sometimes.
So him saying that was very much out of pocket when you really think about it, and we know that Justin Baldoni has a podcast. He still does, it's just that one of his co-hosts has left. Toxic masculinity and ways to lift women up and respecting women and how men can do better and all of that kind of thing.
The short-term win for me always feels terrible. Like with Emily and I as an example, we've gotten in a fight and I just was a dummy and didn't apologize, and I just wanted to get my point across and win. And I won, which is really just her, just me winning is her being like, you're just an idiot and I'm going to stop talking.
Yeah.
Because what happens after that is you're like, oh, your chest puffs out. And then you're like, oh my God, I feel like shit.
And then the high dissipates.
It goes
and then
away
you're left
so
with just
fast.
Guilt and shame. And
then
just
you
feel like crap.
And then you go over there with your, tail between your legs, and you're like, you know what, I was wrong. I'm sorry. And they're like, I know.
Justin Baldoni does in fact have a podcast like that. So when Nicepool came out with that monetizing of the women's movement line, if you didn't really know anything about this lawsuit, or you didn't know anything about Justin Baldoni, it would just kind of go right over your head. But people are pointing that one out. Another clip as well is when they meet that woman who I cannot remember for the life of me what her name is, and she can like get into people's, she like puts her little fingers and she can like get into your mind and like see all this kind of stuff. So Deadpool, who is played by Ryan Reynolds, shout out And where is the goddamn intimacy coordinator?
And where in God's name is the intimacy coordinator?
Which could mean absolutely nothing. It could mean absolutely nothing. But when you start adding up the little clips, you start to realize, oh, yeah, maybe this could actually be what it's about.
Oh my goodness, wait till you see Lady Pool. She is gorgeous. Just had a baby too, and can't even tell. I don't think you're supposed to say that, okay? I identify as a feminist.
Towards the very end, there is a big battle. You have all the Deadpools, all the variations of Deadpools, and you have Lady Pool. Now, Lady Pool is actually played by Blake Lively. What happens is that towards the end, Lady Pool, Blake Lively, ends up killing Nicepool because Deadpool, who's Ryan Reynolds, uses him as a human shield. Before all this is going on, Nicepool has this once again out of pocket line where he's talking about, you know, I can break the fourth wall too, and then looks into the camera and says, the proposal.
Come here, girl. Papa's here. Hey, do not insult this animal's autonomy. She can decide who her papa is. What's it gonna be, girl, huh? Original recipe? Or Van Milder here? Ah, it's funny. I can gently tap the fourth wall too. The proposal.
The proposal could, meaning the other film, also be alluding to the fact that Justin Baldoni did that like 25-minute long proposal video towards his wife where they had like choreography and people dancing in the street and all sorts.
Can this be true? Tell me, can this be real?
Have Blake Lively who pews Nicepool while Nicepool is being used as a human shield by Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds. We have news sources who are calling it fan fiction. I do think it is very much fan fiction. Usually I would not entertain this sort of a theory, especially when you have the ongoing theories that some people believe that actually Blake and Justin Baldoni had a thing going on, which I genuinely do not believe that. You can try and convince me in the comment section. There are a lot of similarities between the Nicepool character and Justin Baldoni, even down to like at one point he's wearing like a man bun and all sorts of stuff, and then there's also the bits that he's saying about, you know, having a podcast and the proposal and the intimacy coordinator and all of that. Maybe this was a very subtle dig. And the thing is that Ryan Reynolds, like, Deadpool is his thing. Really fun fact, he was the character, but that was not his film until he took over production of Deadpool. Comes from Screen Crush, and this was picked apart a little while ago because of course we're on Deadpool 3, so of course a little bit of time has now passed. Despite all the setbacks that Deadpool director Tim Miller faced along the way, it turns out that there was only one thing that could cause him to throw in the towel: success. Earlier today, Deadline broke the news that Miller will be leaving Deadpool 2 as a result of creative differences with star Ryan Reynolds. I'd like to insert as well is that Ryan Reynolds is listed as a producer in the original Deadpool film, number 1. Deadline notes that Miller had not formally signed on to direct the next film, but had been working on the script and was expected by all involved to return. Apparently, Miller and 20th Century Fox are still on very good terms. It is expected that Miller will jump into a trilogy of science fiction films based on the David Suarez novel Influx. After years of production hell on the original Deadpool film, you'd think that Miller and Reynolds were past the point where behind-the-scenes tension could cause their working relationship to fizzle. It's a shame that the two men were not able to come to an agreement about the course of the franchise. This is supposed to be the easy part when you've already proven yourself and can think bigger and bolder than you ever did before. That being said, if Miller and Reynolds are indeed at an impasse, the studio was always going to side with Ryan Reynolds in the dispute. Not only is Reynolds the star of a successful superhero franchise, he's also made the character of Deadpool an extension of his persona in a way that few actors do. You might have a worse Deadpool 2 without Miller, but you'd have no Deadpool 2 without its star. Which I think they have a very good point in saying that, because Ryan Reynolds does very much make the whole Deadpool persona about him. Like, he is Deadpool. No one else can try and change it, and Reynolds is Deadpool. However, this just goes to show that Ryan Reynolds has this thing where he takes over people's things. Someone already comes along, directs, creates this film, puts their heart and soul into it, and then Ryan Reynolds then comes along and takes it over. Also some issues as well with the cast members of the original Deadpool. So you have Miller, who is director. You then have TJ Miller, who I think he was then replaced by that other guy who's like Deadpool's best mate. blah. He came out and he had a lot of really bad words to say about working with Ryan Reynolds, and that he's fake, and that he puts on a persona, and that he was treated really badly by Reynolds, and then he refused to come back for Deadpool 3. Someone actually came out and accused TJ Miller of actually assaulting them when they were in college. Leave that just literally up here. And allegedly that may have been a reasoning as to why he then didn't come back for Deadpool 3, even though he denies his allegations. Anyway, messy. The whole thing's very messy. But this is what he had to say in response to basically, saying he would never do Deadpool 3 and that Ryan Reynolds was really difficult to work with, etc., etc.
People get really famous and then things get really weird. And that's what happened from Deadpool 1 to Deadpool 2, was you first had Ryan Reynolds, who everybody knew who he was, but he had never had, he'd had a lot of movies that were failures or just didn't do that well. And so Deadpool was a real long shot for him. And then so Deadpool 2, he was a different person. That's just a different guy. A guy that's become that famous in a movie that is that funny just kind of changes people, And I don't think it really changed me at all, because I didn't give a fuck while they're like, he doesn't appreciate what's going on. I would not have done Deadpool 3 if they came to me and they were like, we want you to do Deadpool 3 and we're going to pay you twice as much.
Over that one incident?
Would I work with him again? No.
No,
I would not work with him
that
again.
much vitriol.
Really weird moment on Deadpool where he said, let's do one more take. And everyone was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then as the character, he was like horrifically mean to me.
Cathartic.
As if I'm Weasel.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So he was like, what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star, but you just, you do just enough exposition that it's funny, and then we can leave and get back to the real movie. I think he's kind of an insecure dude. He's really nice, but I mean, his Twitter bio is showing you the parts of me that tested the best in focus groups. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure that he's joking.
Could very well be a pattern of events, as we know that Justin Baldoni said that basically Ryan and Lively bullied him and Wayfarer Studios and all of that out of the film. Even to the point where you had Blake Lively and then you also had Justin Baldoni. And even though it was meant to be the 10-week post-production period or whatever it's called, would sit in the editing room and he would make the director's cut. No one else was supposed to be in there, but he allowed Lively in, and I believe she stayed for way longer than she should have into the lawsuit. And what ended up happening was that they ended up having 2 separate cuts of this film. They ended up going to an audience and his scored higher. However, to keep up with her demands and the fact that she would basically not promote this film and not have anything more to do with this film whatsoever unless she had her cut released. Allegedly, according to his lawsuit, they basically bullied them into submission. Interestingly enough, at the Golden Globes, we had Brady Corbett, and he was behind The Brutalist, and I believe he won 2 awards. I haven't seen this film, by the way, so please do not ask me for lore or anything about him, because I really don't know. Based off of what I've read and what I've seen, he came on and he was basically saying how no one had any faith in this film. No one wants to see a 3-hour movie, on what they were making. And he stuck with it, he believed in everyone, and he came on and he basically said that the director's cut is the only cut.
All right. I'm incredibly moved. I prepared 1 speech, not 2. I have to thank everyone up here who over and over again bet on this film that kept falling apart, and they stuck with it, through thick and thin, really. So thanks to all of you. I really love you all very much. I'm very grateful. This is an extremely well-produced film. So I'd like to thank my producers. I'll be brief because I've kind of already said what I had to say. I just want to leave everyone with something to think about. Final cut tie break goes to the director. That's sort of a controversial statement. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be controversial at all. I was told that this film was undistributable. I was told that no one would come out and see it. I was told the film wouldn't work. And I'm not, I don't resent that. But I want to use this as an opportunity to lift up when, filmmakers, all of my, not just fellow nominees, but all the extraordinary directors in this room. Films don't exist without the filmmakers. Please, let's support them. Let's prop them up. No one was asking for a 3.5-hour film about a mid-century designer on 70 millimeter. But it works. So please just think about it, and have a great night.
A lot of people are, of course, stitching this, and they're going, yeah, this is directed at Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. It could very well be, or it could very well just be him speaking from his own experience and the fact that no one obviously believed in the film, and then they had people battling out for different things, but he decided to go with his cut, and now he's saying that. But he also could be very well aware of the lawsuits and what is going on, so he's making that point even more well known. You have some people like, well, this has nothing to do with it. It may not directly, however, the parallels are there, like I've just said, with the fact that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, bullied Justin Baldoni out, allegedly, and Justin couldn't even use his cuts. I hope one day we might be able to see his cut, but this is all alleging to do with his lawsuit. I think considering Blake and Ryan didn't show up, maybe people felt like they could kind of throw jabs a little bit more. Because of the heightened emotions on what people are trying to get from all of this, they're going to try and draw parallels. But what do you guys think about it? Is there any correlation between what Brady was saying? Do you think that Justin Baldoni was the muse of Nicepool? What do you guys think? Because I would love to see everyone's comments. I've been reading people's comments on TikToks that I've seen, but I really want to be able to just sit through and read through my comments and go, to try and get a broader idea on what everyone is thinking rather than just what news outlets are saying, etc, etc. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Like I say, there's going to be some TikTok drama that's going to be coming out either tomorrow or the next day, but I didn't want to post it today because I don't have all the information yet. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I will catch up with you guys in the next video.